A lot of things in Florida weather just faster because of our sunshines and our storms. One of those things are roof shingles. Jason Cantor from Roof Rejuvenate is joining us today. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk about this because probably, we get a lot of sunshine, we get a lot of storms here in Florida. And what does it do to the shingles on our roof?
Yeah, unfortunately, roofs just don't last as long as the roofers and the shingle manufacturers tell us. They literally take a beating here in Florida. They bake in the sun for years. And what happens to the shingles is they dry out. They get brittle and they start to break apart. They start to crack. The little granulars start to come off heavier and faster. They lose their ability to stay sealed down, so they start to lift and curl and they're susceptible to blowing off. Algae starts to grow on the roof.
Yeah.
Nails start to pop. What's happening is the oils in those shingles slowly evaporate out over the years, and that's what causes these deterioration of the shingles. And it gets worse and worse until at some point you've got no choice but to rip it off and replace a roof, which is obviously very expensive these days.
Yeah, and so this is why we have you here too, because you're able to tell us about a process that you use to give your shingles more life.
Yes, we're actually able to restore that shingle to literally work the way it did when it came out of the box. What we're doing is we're reapplying and resaturating those shingles with all natural USDA bio-based oils, which we're replacing the original petrochemical oils that were in those shingles. And the oils penetrate the shingle all the way through the shingle and actually rebuild the shingle from the inside out on a molecular level. And in doing so, it does a bunch of things to the actual shingle itself. It makes that shingle flexible like it was when it was new. It slows down that granular loss and keeps those granulars on the roof, because once those things come off, they're gone. You can't put them back on the roof. It reactivates those seal strips that hold those shingles down onto the roof. It inhibits algae growth. We're reversing that UV aging damage and fixing that thermal cracking that happens on the shingles.
When should somebody have this done?
Typically after year 5 is when typically shingles start that drying out process. So the sooner we get to that roof, the more that we're actually saving and preserving and being able to maintain for the long term.
Good. All right. Something to keep in mind then for sure. I want to talk about homeowners insurance a little bit because you can actually help someone keep their homeowners insurance without having to replace their roof.
Yes, yes. And we've all heard those stories and the nightmares where insurance companies were denying coverage because someone had an older roof or forcing them to replace it because they didn't think it was in good enough condition. That's all in the past. If a roof is a candidate for what we do, and not all roofs are, right? If a roof is too far gone and it's shot, there's nothing you can do to bring it back. But if a roof is a candidate for roof rejuvenation, we're gonna provide a roof certification from an independent state licensed roof inspector. And with that roof certification, it is now illegal for an insurance carrier to deny coverage based solely on the age of the roof or force replacement as a condition of renewal. It's the law now in the state of Florida. Every insurance company that's writing and underwriting homeowners insurance here in the state of Florida has to accept it. They don't have a choice. And if we couldn't provide that roof certification, we're not going to touch the roof.
Okay. So if people have some questions, maybe they want to call you to see if their roof does qualify for this. How can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Our phone number is on the screen. Absolutely. You give us a call and we will walk you through our process, what we do, how we do it, how we qualify a roof, and how much it costs.
And you have a special offer for us.
Yes. Anyone who calls today and mentions the Morning Blend gets $100 off the application plus a free roof tune-up with our treatment.
Now's the time to call and get those questions answered. Thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you.
Thanks so much for having me.